Alright guys, the World Championship qualifier just ended, and as expected, we've got ourselves a ban list. And this one, it should be juicy. It really should. Tier element, it should not be tier 0 after this. I really hope it isn't. And some of the other art types, like for example Sprite, should be on here, as that's the other art type that's probably a little bit it needs a bit of a hit, let's be honest. That deck is really good, especially with some of the Bestial stuff coming out rather soon, so it's going to be good to see some of those hits, especially to mostly tier element, obviously, because, yeah, we're sick of tier 0 format. So before we get into the reaction, just a reminder, if you guys are enjoying this kind of content, we'll see more videos from me in the future, remember to leave a like on this video and consider subscribing to the channel down below. That way you won't miss out when I get some ban list updates or whatever in the future. So without further ado, let's get into this reaction. Alright, first thing, Sprite Blue, 3-2, alright. That's definitely a consistency hit for the deck. It won't be enough to make the deck actually bad. I'm not generally a fan of these sort of semi-limits in general. I think a lot of people share this opinion, because it's sort of like, the deck can still do everything it wants to do, it just makes it so that it does it less consistently. So it's more like, oh, the deck when it goes off still feels AIDS to play against, but it just does it less often, so I don't really know. I'm a fan of Sprite, by the way. I actually play a lot of Sprite, so this has come from someone that plays a lot of the deck. I kind of like it to be a bit harsher than this, especially if tier gets massively hit on this. If tier gets like a slap on the wrist from this ban list, Sprite needs to stay at full power, because otherwise, yeah, nothing really competes with it very well. Okay, I like this hit. Oh, this buff. Because I was trying to play with this card in, I think I was playing in Invoked Mech Knight not too long ago, and this shit felt awful, because this card's it's a really good starter for that deck, but limiting it to 1 was like, oh. And it's not like Orcus is really doing anything anymore. It's like, is there anyone playing this deck in anything? There's some Orcus Mech Knight. Some people play it during the qualifier, I guess. And some people are playing it with some, okay. Of course they were. Yeah, anyway, moving on. Dear Servant. Okay, this is another one that should have been changed quite a while ago. No one's really playing the, what are they called? Dogmaticas anymore, so it's really good to see this card. I'd like to see it unlimited. I'm a big fan of unlimited changes to stuff that's like, really shouldn't be on the ban list anymore, realistically. And this is one of the best cards for the deck, so it's really nice to see this one coming off. Means you can get access to your dumping your fusion monster from the extra deck a lot easier, if I recall correctly. Yeah, this makes it so that basically this card can just be a removal and a search. It's a fantastic card. So yeah, good to see that one coming off, or at least being bumped to 2. Metaverse. Really? Okay, sure. Okay. I mean, I guess me reading this card, I'm thinking more like the AIDSy stuff people do with stuff like this, like Necro Valley type cringe floodgate stuff, but at least we don't have Mystic Mine in this game, so it's not that bad. It's just sort of a weak version of Terraforming, sort of. I don't know. Field spell searches can be kind of sus, but at least, like I said, there's no Mystic Mine in this game, so the only one that's sort of problematic is Necro Valley, and it's probably okay, honestly. It's probably okay. I don't even know is anyone even playing this, realistically? Some Floodgatey decks, maybe? Yeah, well, this is what I was worried about. Literally, look at the list of names here. Floodgate, 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 Floodgate. They're all Floodgate decks. That's the only people that play this stuff, so I don't like seeing unlimits like this, because it generally just leads to people, I assume, playing Necro Valley. That's the guess. Yeah, Necro Valley user. You a Necro Valley user too? Oh, you probably are, just this one isn't playing it, because they probably don't play them. 80%. Do they have another field spell in here? Oh, I guess of course, they've got... yeah, of course. Dumbass. But yeah, they're all Floodgatey type decks. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of this hit. Oh, this unban. Oh, I like that. Okay, so for those that don't know, a bit of lore. My favorite art type in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! At the moment is Cyber Angel, so I like seeing this unhit, despite obviously knowing that it's being abused and was limited for other reasons outside of the Cyber Angel archetype. So I don't mind this. I think the deck that was using it, obviously being the, God, where is it? The Super Negate deck. I think it's a little bit out of date now. Cyber Angel comes up first, actually. Yeah, Drytron, it's a little bit sort of outdated now. It's probably okay if we get this thing back, especially with, I think Ava's still limited, I think. I don't actually remember what bans they did for this deck. I think it was Ava. Is Ava even limited? Does deck even play that anymore? Probably not, because it got banned or limited, right? Either one. I don't really remember. Either way, I'm happy with this unlimit. I like to see Cyber Angels being, I feel it's pretty unjust that just because this is, like, good in other ritual decks, it just ruins the Cyber Angel archetype or makes it worse. So, I'm really happy to see this going up. So, good stuff, Konami. Good shit. Cards to be limited. Alright, so now we're into the big hits. Tearman. Mostly, I'm looking at the ISHIZU hits, because I think the ISHIZU hits are really what makes tier really unfun. Because there's two things that I want to have that could happen to tier. They either go down the route of banning or limiting all the ISHIZU stuff, or they go down the route of taking out Kit Kalos completely. And I think Master Duel won't hit Kit Kalos, because I think it's, their ban lists are generally more friendly and making things still seem a little bit more powerful rather than sort of gutting decks completely, which I think hitting Kit Kalos, it doesn't make the deck unplayable, it just makes it really awkward. We have to play things like King of the Swamp, which is not exactly very fun. So I'm thinking they're going to go down the nerf all the ISHIZU stuff. So I'm expecting a lot of limit ones here, or ISHIZUs. That's what I'm expecting. Yep, there's the first one. Keldota one. Perfect. Fantastic. Probably one of the better ones to hit, because I think the most annoying part about the one of the most annoying parts about this annoying archetype is the fact that it gives Tearman a rank 4 package. So you can, like, if your opponent activates the hand trap that makes all your stuff get banished when it goes to graveyard, if your opponent activates that, they're like, alright, I'm just going to summon out my rank 4, whichever one you want to go into, and all of a sudden your opponent has to try and deal with that, like a Baguska or something. And it just feels so annoying to have this deck list that's already incredibly powerful have access to all these tools as well. It's really dumb. So hitting some of these, perfect, really good, especially special summoning ones. I'm expecting a lot more on here. Yeah, there we go. Of course, 3 to 1. Yeah, this is exactly what I was expecting. This is perfect. It's literally what they should have been doing. For people that haven't been keeping up with a lot of the Master Duel tournaments, a lot of people, I think Decay did a couple of BANLIST tournaments, like selective BANLIST tournaments where they banned or like limited all the ISHIZU stuff. I think they banned it actually, and the amount of variety that was in that tournament, way more. There's like literally just so many more decks are actually viable with this stuff being limited. So I'm happy with this. It does feel weird because these cards are also really good in some decks to sort of counter tier, but at the same time, if these aren't in tier, the decks feel a lot worse. At least it feels a lot easier to play against and a lot less rank 4s. Yep, Agito to 1. Literally what I said. These are all going to be limited to 1. I assume the other one's going to be on here as well if I keep scrolling. Oh, it's not. Oh, they banned... Okay. Sure. They literally just did this IRL too. Yeah, because this one's for, we're just, obviously... I was actually talking about this with some people on Discord the other way, which, by the way, link in the description to my Discord if you want to join it. I was talking there the other day. I'm thinking the only card that's ever abused with Stein, there's only ever 2 cards abused. There's Last Warrior, and there's obviously the Notoria card, right? The Notoria Exterio. And I was thinking, what if they just banned Exterio? Like, is anyone actually summoning this outside of... And I feel like, in my opinion, I think Cyberstein's more fun card than Exterio. And I think Exterio is the only actual problem card for Stein. So I feel like, I guess it sort of limits future... releases, like they can't sort of release certain fusion monster things without having the restrictions being only fusion summonable or something. I feel like if they just banned Exterio, it would feel a lot better than banning Stein. I think Stein sort of could be fun for other things. But I guess this card also leads to a lot of random FTKs and stuff, so maybe it is better we just limit this one, or ban this one. Either way. Smoke Grenade! Fantastic hit! I don't think anyone was really using this anymore. This was used as part of a lot of really stupid hand loop stuff. I don't think it was used that often. Yeah, this was the deck that used it the most, Infernoble Knight. Spiral was playing it? Really? Okay. I guess most weren't, but yeah, this was cringe. Although I think this guy's only playing it at 1. Not that it would matter, because this is at 3. So, fantastic hit. For those that don't know what Smoke Grenade does, it basically whenever it goes to the graveyard or when it's destroyed or whatever, you look at your opponent's hand and get rid of a card. That is cringe shit. You shouldn't... I think hand looping is awful. It's one of the worst things ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think I'd prefer to get FTK'd than have my opponent discard my entire hand. It just is not fun at all, so get this shit out of here. Yeah, especially because this thing gets rid of hand traps too, so it makes it so that you can go into FTKs and stuff a lot. It's just garbage. Absolute garbage. Alright. Terraforming. No, that change is awful. I do not agree with this at all. Like I was saying before, like these ones all lead to floodgates and stuff. But that's just kind of the nature of how the trap card stuff works, because it can only work in slower decks. That's why they play it. This hits a lot of the stuff that's just... There's a lot of decks that use field spells that aren't incredibly broken, and having Terraforming just completely banned is like... Who's this like... Is it like... Obviously this hurts tier, but if this is a tier hit, it's such a garbage one. It's such a garbage one. Like, bro, there's so many other decks that use it. I guess it hurts Numeron a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't like that hit at all. Cyber Angel using it, XD. Look at all these decks that get to use it though, man. It's just getting limited. I don't like that at all. It's kind of like banning Reinforcement of the Army or something, right? It's sort of like, I mean, yeah, the cards are good. That's why they're limited to 1. I don't like this hit at all. Is this banned? It's literally 1 in OCG and TCG. What is this banned for? That's garbage. Yeah, that's awful. Alright, whatever. And that's it. Alright. So it started well. It was really well for these lot. And then they banned Terraforming for some reason. I mean, it's not the worst change, I guess, but I really think this is literally, I think, to hit tier still, and I think there's way better ways to hit tier than this one. For example, limiting the final one of these, so it's still one that isn't limited to 1. Yeah, this is garbage. This is huge. Absolute garbage, man, this one. But the rest of the hits are all good. Cyberstein band's alright, this one's fantastic band, these are all good. These I will agree with, so, except this one, this should just be actually just banned. But yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's ban list sort of reaction. If you guys enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this ban list. Good one, bad one, did they go too hard, did they not go hard enough? Let me know down below. And without further ado, yeah, thank you guys for watching, laters.